Hey all, Scott here. I am not doing well. It's been a week since Daylight Savings Day. Worst holiday. I've changed my clocks. I'm still not used to it. I hate change. I've had the same feet for years, thank you.
The next generation of gaming is upon us. It's time to upgrade.
No! No!
The Nintendo Game Boy. That's right, it's a minor. While the Game Boy was a massive success, it obviously warranted a successor or at the very least, an upgrade. So eventually, 6 years later, Nintendo released a line of Game Boys under the slogan, "Play it loud." The deaf revolted. These were the exact same systems from '89, but now there were so many different color options. This was during Nintendo's rambunctious phase, trying to be cool for all the 90s kids. Yeah, stick it to the man, buy a yellow Game Boy. These are pretty nice additions to the lineup, but this was 6 years after the launch. The Game Boy lasted so long, and for a giant chunk of its lifespan, it was still just that old brick. The next year, in 1996, Nintendo finally released a revision titled the Game Boy Pocket, and the most tolerable handheld goes to this. It is a fraction of the size, comes in a variety of colors, only costs $69.99. The screen is bigger, clearer, doesn't get as blurry during motion sequences, doesn't look fucking disgusting, only uses 2 AAA batteries instead of 4 AA's. This is a huge improvement, though I do still think the original has more character. Just look at the fonts for the buttons, this looks like a PowerPoint presentation. But it still wasn't lit or anything, you still need to bring a lighter if you wanted to play at night. Well, 2 years later in 1998, Nintendo released another revision of the Game Boy, the Game Boy Light. The Game Boy Light was fundamentally the Game Boy Pocket, but not with a screen you could actually use in the dark. It was only released in Japan.
Nintendo knows what we like over here.
The problem is, this revision released a mere months before Nintendo released the full upgrade, the Game Boy Color. Featuring a color screen and exclusive games, it was pointless to buy this, even if it had the backlight and the color didn't. Since these released so close to each other, it's understandable why this never left Japan. Also, America hates vision. It didn't make sense to make consumers decide between a light and a color when it was obvious the color was what Nintendo really wanted to sell here. The original Game Boy wasn't discontinued until 2003, living an incredible 14 years, and it really lived on for far longer than that. The Game Boy Color and Advance were compatible with these old games, with the Advance being discontinued in 2010. The Game Boy line was so popular, with the original first 3 models selling 64 million plus units before the Color's release in '98.
I've decided to start playing game systems with names that perfectly describe me, so I'm gonna start playing the Microvision.